Welcome to another Triathlon Podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another Triathlon Podcast. Enjoy the ride.
We are back with another episode of another Triathlon Podcast brought to you by Mauna Endurance. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We had an off week last week because we're still getting this all dialed in, and we wanted to make sure we had some better audio options. I know it was a little rough the last few, so we're trying something new here, and bear with us as we kind of get this dialed in and figured out. But as usual, we're going to have some fun here. We're going to chat all things triathlon, do some race reviews. We got a social media post of the week here. We'll answer some questions from the audience, and we'll kind of roll out from there. But first off, I want to introduce someone new here. We're going to have another voice on the podcast, bring us another perspective on triathlon. I wanted to introduce Josh. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here with you two. I've been listening to all the episodes, and awesome to join the team for today.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
welcome.
Then we've also got Fede, of course, here joining us as well. So why don't you tell us, Josh, a quick bio about you and what you do in triathlon?
Quickly, I was an athlete growing up, played sports my whole life, and then got to college, and soccer career kind of ended with a broken leg, and off I went into the world, got married, had a kid, just went into the working world and to the daily grind. And then a few years ago, decided to kind of flip it all back around and stop drinking and started getting in shape and found triathlon. And a year ago, this coming Sunday was my first ever try. And I'm returning to that same event this weekend to better my time. I'm hoping to drop a sprint triathlon time by about 15 to 20 minutes. And in the meantime, I've done a 70.3 and some relays and a couple other sprint triathlons. So I've been immersed in this sport and everything the rest of you have been putting out there and just soaking it all in. So I think it's a good perspective to bring too for a lot of new people out there, what I've learned and what I look for and what I see out there that might make us all laugh sometimes too.
Love it. Welcome along here. Yeah, it's great to get a little different perspective. Obviously, Fede and I are both coaches. We have been in the sport for a fair bit longer, so it's nice to just get a little different view on the whole triathlon landscape. And it'll be interesting to see how much faster you go from your first to a year later, giving it another go. That's awesome. Are you feeling ready to go for it?
I am. I had a good swim this morning. Did one of my last runs this afternoon, so I'm feeling good. Taper weeks are always fun. I've learned that racing and tapering all together. I've put a bunch of events back to back to back with a week off in between. It's nice.
That is wicked. Yeah, taper is always rough. I find there's always some random ache or pain or muscle you have never felt before that all of a sudden is freaking out. And you're like, okay, what is happening? Am I going to be able to race? But half of it's just mental. Half of it is your body just unloading all the fatigue, and it always messes with the head a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the biggest message is just to realize you've already done all the fitness work, right? And just if you have to back it off that week, back it off. And that's where I've come. That mindset, I think, helps a lot. Even when you feel those tweaks, race day, you're going to be all right.
Absolutely. So actually, let's go into a little bit of how everyone's weeks are going so far. Fede, how's the recovery going from 70.3 in Hawaii?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I didn't have the greatest day because of the flat. So body is holding up perfectly nice. I've been training a lot. And body's feeling great and ready to rock and roll again. I signed up for another race, which is on the second weekend of July in Ecuador, in Manta, Ecuador.
Oh, fun.
Should be fun. Never raced there, so pretty excited to see how the race is and looking forward to towing the line again.
Now I gotta ask, are you gonna have the spare repair kit in there this time?
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna have my tubeless setup and the flat repair kit for sure. No doubt about it this time.
See, it was so funny. So I raced my first race of the season about a week ago, and I realized when I was getting everything set up, because I've been doing mostly indoor training, that I did not have a CO2 adapter at all. So I was like, oh my God, if I go out here and do this race and get a flat just after you did because I don't have a flat kit, oh my God, it'll be ridiculous.
Oh my God, that would have been epic.
I was totally thinking about that during the race. I'm like, I cannot come on. We're supposed to be the experts. I cannot come on a week later and be like, oh, I got a flat and didn't have the stuff.
Hey, at the end of the day, I did it just as what not to do during a triathlon. It was just teaching. It was a teaching practice, what I did there.
You are a very dedicated coach. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
And now I have a flat kit ready to go for this weekend. Thanks.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's some of the fun parts about being a coach is just being able to help sometimes save other people the pain of doing it the hard way the first time. Well, and we still make mistakes anyways, because we're all human. You see that in the pros too. But man, there are so many little bits and pieces to triathlon where sometimes you do take a gamble and don't take the flat kit because it's faster and you want to be more aero. And you know what? It's always an adventure.
Oh yeah.
I forgot how painful racing is, though. Man, my last race was in Chattanooga for Ironman in September last year, so it's been a bit of a stretch, and going max effort is brutal. I like the longer stuff.
How's the body holding up?
Pretty good. I was pretty lucky there. So I did a duathlon, which is a run, bike, run, and fortunately, with the race, with my new factor, I was able to get a pretty fast bike split. So only had to run hard the first one and then bike hard. And the whole time during the bike, I'm telling myself, the harder I bike, the easier I can run after this. So didn't have to go too deep into the well on the second run there. So the body's holding up pretty good and could jump back into it.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear.
Yeah. Well, how about we talk about some racing from the experts here, chat about some of the pro races that have happened this weekend. We are in the thick of the race season right now. It seems like there's 5 races every weekend. So why don't we jump into some of the highlights? What was one of the most interesting races this weekend, Fede?
Well, let's divide this into short course and long course. Let's jump into short course first. We had WTCS World Cup in Huatulco, Mexico. And that was a sprint distance. And we had the Spaniard, David Castro Fajardo, taking the win again. He's on fire. And your fellow Canadian, Tyler Mislachak, he finished second. So he's showing some form for the Paris test event. And on third place, running up the podium, we had a Mexican, Aram Peñaflor. This kid is moving really fast through the Mexican ranks. So I'm very happy about him. It was a very hot and humid race. Yeah, that's very nice to see from Adam. On the women's race, we had another Mexican, Anaí Alvarez, taking the win. This girl runs.
Can maybe hold that pace for a mile or so. Never mind a 5K and a triathlon.
Oh yeah, and when you think about it, this girl was holding up Gwen Jorgensen, who finished second. She's making her comeback to short course, trying to qualify for the Paris Olympics, and she finished second. But of course, Anaí got the confidence boost she needed, outrunning an Olympic gold medalist, which is very, very nice. And another Mexican on third place, Mercedes Romero, which is really good to see that the Mexicans are delivering in home soil. I'm very proud of them. I'm very happy. And before we started recording, we were actually talking about the mixed team relays with Josh, and that was a very exciting race. We had the Americans taking the win, then Mexico, and then Canada. So we're all happy now.
There we go. We got it across the board. That's awesome. Yeah, you know what? First off, I am so glad we have you on here to pronounce the names because I would have absolutely butchered all of those. But yeah, it was so good. So, of course, got to talk about the Canadian. Tyler Mislachuk has had a really rough run the last couple of years, actually since the last Olympic test event. So it's so good to see him back on there and getting after some race results. And then Gwen Jorgensen, she just ran the wheels off that. She had an awesome run split, and it's so good to see her making some strides in her comeback. Now, it is not a top tier World Champs Series race, but she's got to have a lot of confidence from pulling out that performance after a few that really didn't quite go to plan.
Yeah, and word on the street is that Gwen is going to Hoka, so expect her to be running in Hokas and not the swoosh brand anymore.
Interesting. They seem to be snapping up a lot of the top athletes again.
Yeah, I think they are dipping their toes a lot deeper in the triathlon community, so that's good to see. So it's going to be interesting to see her progression.
Yeah, I wonder if it's crazy. She's going to have quite the run of results to make it, one, to some of the WTCS series races, and two, just really make it among the ranks, because there's so many strong American women right now. It's hard to see her making the Olympic selection, but who knows? If anyone can do it, a previous Olympic gold medalist has a good shot.
Yeah. I think what Gwen is trying to do right now is to prove that she belongs, and of course she does. I think she's trying to go for the the American Olympic Committee selection, just to prove that she's the right fit for the mixed team relay, which is what she's trying to get on the team for. So as long as she's consistent and always placing well, I think she has a very strong chance into making the Olympics in Paris.
Oh, it'll be good to see. Now, Josh, do you follow any of the short course racing at all, or do you stick to mostly the long course?
No, I've been following a lot of the short course stuff, and was able to look at some of the races that we were just discussing too. And I thought, that mixed relay was so enthralling to me, and draft legal and the chase from the men to the women to the men to the women, and for her to come from behind too. The U.S. weren't leading, and she put on that run for her second race. Most of them were doing their second race, right? They'd all done the individual, and then they come into the team event, and to see that race and the course and the fans, and to see her pull it out pretty much on the last corner, right? Coming down to the carpet.
So good. Yeah. Keeping it interesting for sure. That mixed team relay is so fascinating. And it's interesting to see a lot of the teams are almost testing out new athletes every single time to see who could potentially be a fit for one of those medals. But I think you always suffer a little bit more for teammates than you do on your own. So you really see people get the most out of themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I've done a relay recently, so I do agree. I pushed myself a little harder than I normally would. So it was fun to see the pros do it too. And you could see that they were all rooting for each other. And really, as soon as that tag went, they were in the water and diving as hard as they possibly could, more so than you would normally see in an individual race.
Yeah, the one time I've done a team relay was actually at Super League Singapore. And in the heat and humidity, especially coming from Canada, I have never suffered so much. But our team was in the running, so you just give it everything. So you're like, okay, we gotta go for this.
Hey, it doesn't have to be pretty as long as you deliver the job, eh?
Absolutely. Wicked. So, Fetty, what else did we have go on this weekend?
Well, before we jump into the long distance racing, I wanted to say a big congrats to the power couple of Janos and Olivia. These kids are from New Zealand. I met them a couple years ago, and they are chasing Olympic points as well. They raced at the World Cup not World Cup, European Triathlon Cup in Kitzbühel in Austria. And that is a very, very tough course. I remember back in the day, when it was an Olympic distance, Alistair Brownlee just destroying the field on the uphill. So, hats off to anyone that races this race, because it's very, very tough. And we see a lot of young people racing this type of events. just chasing points, because this time of the year and this particular time, everyone is hungry to chase points, and they race as much as they can to snatch the points, because, you know, if you don't race one weekend, that might mean that you're not going to make the Olympics. So it's going to be fascinating to see how athletes manage, well, one, the training for the racing, and another thing, the recovery from back-to-back weekends of racing. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, it's fun to follow their journeys and see what goes into actually getting that Olympic selection. Like there's some countries like the US where you have to be on the top tier to even be a consideration, but some other countries out there, it's fairly wide open. Like anyone can get in if they really chase down the points and really make it their target.
100%. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how the dynamics play out with injuries and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. What else do we got on the race scene here?
Well, we had Ironman Austria over the weekend as well. And we had the Danes are on fire now, eh? We had Matthias Pedersen taking the win. Then we had the one and only Cam Worth coming in second. And then we had George Enzenberger, who's from Austria, I believe, again, running up the podium. And it was good to see Cam Worth getting his world champ slot. He's going to make the bike course very interesting, I believe. He's going to be a key
he's
player.
Going to hurt some people. Yeah. And you know what? I don't know how he does it all, being on a world cycling team at the same time as doing triathlon, doing crazy things like running a half marathon after, was it Paris-Roubaix?
Yeah.
Like, this guy is a machine, but no matter what race he comes out to, whether he's going for the win or has a shot at it or not, he definitely affects how the race plays out because of that bike. And everyone's scared of his bike ride in a way too.
Yeah, he's one of those people. I think we all have that one friend who was always good at everything. He's that guy, Olympic rower, then got bored of rowing and decided to become a professional cyclist. And he was like, now I'm going to go into professional triathlon. Now back into pro cycling. Now I'll do both.
I thought I was easily distracted, but this guy, I got nothing on Cam. That is awesome. And you got to think, so actually one other thing, which we can talk more about later, is the Nice course was just released for the bike there. And It looks like it's going to have 2,400 meters of climbing, which is about 8,000 feet, and some technical descent. So you got to think his world tour experience and his cycling or bike handling skills will really give him a leg up over in Nice.
100%. It's not going to be your average time trial type of course. You're going to need to be like a very good cyclist all around, like good climber, good on technical descents, great at handling the bike. Not fearing death from going downhill at gazillion miles per hour. So yeah. And on this race, there's this YouTuber brothers who documented their journey to doing their first Ironman. So if anyone is thinking about doing an Ironman, I would suggest to go on YouTube and type average Rob Ironman, and you can see their journey. They're very funny. I think former world champion Fredrik van Leert was involved, and Sam Laidlow is involved in the project. So it was very, very cool to see.
Talk about having some decent coaches and information, talking to those guys to get to your first Ironman.
Imagine having those guys as your coaches for your first one, huh?
That'd be pretty darn good. What do you think, Josh? Could you use those guys to help you? Or are you going to do a first Ironman anytime soon?
Wow, man. I was just asked that question after finishing my last 70.3. So, no, I really like the 70.3 distance. I like the sprint distance. It kind of gives me a good balance of pushing and the endurance side of it, too. I'm also kind of like our men's field that we were just talking about, focusing on trying to qualify for Boston as well. So that's my next focus after my race this weekend. I'm going to try and do that this fall as well. So Yeah, I mean, anyone could certainly help me at this time of my career, but getting to Kona or something like that would definitely be down the road, but maybe when I'm in my 50s and 60s, who knows?
Fair enough. Yeah,
There
go
you go.
check out that YouTube channel. I'm going to have to give them a look. It's always fun. One of my favorite things is working with athletes as they go for their first Ironman triathlon, just because it seems so insane and insurmountable when you get after it, when you first get started. It's fun to follow those journeys, and it's definitely a path of ups and downs and challenges and just enthusiasm and drive, because that first Ironman finish line can be a huge motivator.
100%.
I agree. I think I said after I finished my sprint triathlon a year ago that there's no way in heck that I'm going to do something longer than this. I was taxed, but you just said it earlier too, that duathlon you did, like you're going so hard at those shorter distances. And then you start thinking like, wow, I can actually do some more longer distance endurance races. And then I got invited to be a part of the athletic brewing team at Oceanside. And next thing I know, 5 months of training and I'm there and finishing in under 6 hours. So
Nice.
It can be done.
There you go.
And it's just a mindset and making sure you get all your nutrition and everything. I think if I could swim better, full Ironman would already be on the table, but it was a struggle getting through 1.2 miles. 2.4 would be a big struggle. So that's why I'm working on my swimming right now.
Fair enough.
Always good. Wicked. So what else do we got on the race calendar here, Fede?
We had Ironman 70.3 Luxembourg, and we had another Dane taking the win, his first pro win, Mickey Tagahold. This guy is a class act. I had the opportunity of talking to him in the PTO Dallas event, and he is just a class act. He's very humble and a hard worker, and he was over the moon taking his first victory. So happy for him. Another Hoka athlete. So we're starting to see a trend here that Hoka is snatching those up-and-coming pros as well as the well-established ones. So yeah, and 70.3 Luxembourg is a very tough course. So yeah, it's I think he ran a 1:15, which isn't blazing fast for a pro. I mean, it's super fast for all of us, but for pros, that's like not fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we had that over the weekend as well.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny. I guess it's all course dependent in there, but now these days with the super shoes, pros are just running some absolutely insane times on these run courses between the carbon fiber, and everyone seems to be stepping up their game, and just even the aero gains on the bike, if they can bike a little easier and still go crazy fast, these runs are starting to get absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Question to both of you guys. How many seconds per kilometers or per mile you think you can get out of a carbon plated shoe? Or do you think it's just the mental advantage that you're wearing carbon?
Yeah, honestly, like doing some very rough at home testing kind of thing. Like I was seeing 10 to 15 seconds per mile difference in the carbon shoes, just based off kind of heart rate and perceived exertion in there. Like I was not a believer. I had On's first edition of the carbon shoes sitting in my closet forever, and their second edition the same. The first ones weren't great. The second ones were really good, but I just didn't think it was really a thing until I actually started to get outside and test it out a little bit more. And I was surprised by the difference. And I think it's not only the cushioning and the carbon, but also it's a little bit easier on your body with the foam that they use in the shoes. So I don't know, for myself, at least I find I recover a little bit quicker and I just don't fatigue as fast, which makes a big difference. It really, at least I felt it helped me a lot in Chattanooga with a big hill that you have to go over a lot in there. Yeah. Just the pounding of the downhills, I found that cushioning really helped a fair bit. But awesome. Again, not scientific testing, just, perception.
Yeah, my perception's probably the same too. I mean, I used the On Cloud Monsters for the first time at a half marathon as kind of like my warm up for Oceanside a couple weeks out, and had never run a fan involved half marathon before. I had done a couple of virtuals and got there, and I was able to stay with the pace group that I picked and shot for. Never expected to run the pace that I did. And I got to that finish line and wish I had signed up for the 26.2 that day. It was extra energy for sure. I feel like, 10 to 15 seconds pace wise, for sure was there. And I wasn't taxed at the end and was able to bounce back pretty quickly.
That's good to hear.
Have you tried them in any of your racing yet, Fede?
Which ones?
Just any carbon shoes.
Oh, I have a mild addiction with running shoes.
Fair enough.
I have every single one of them.
So far, you feel how has your perception been of kind of the difference in race times or training times when you're wearing them?
Well, one thing is for sure what you two said is taxing on the freshness of the legs after running. I can just go train hard the next day. That's one thing which I love. Another thing, I do feel a bit more pop on my feet when I put them on than regular shoes. It varies for me from shoe to shoe how fast a certain pair is for me and for my running stride and my foot strike and everything. I do have my favorite ones, but for me it's like an 8 to 10 second per kilometer faster.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
that's interesting. We all kind of have the same general perception of what that speed difference is in there. So I think as far as we're concerned, definitely helps.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say is I've noticed when I run on carbon plated shoes, my cadence seems to drop.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's because of the cushioning and the bounciness of the shoes that my legs feel a bit more, relaxed. And my cadence are usually a couple of steps per minute.
Kind of difference in there.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I haven't really looked at that. Be curious to see if they felt the same.
Stride length is larger, so I think that's how the carbon fiber works, how carbon fiber plate works. Like my stride is longer, but my cadence is slower. I would assume if I kept the same cadence, I would go a lot faster, but that's just cherry picking now.
There we go. We're always looking to dial it in, get those last couple percentage points. Can make a big difference.
One thing I've noticed too with them is for sure when you're just training, they don't have that same impact or same effect. It's you've got to be going race pace for them to actually show their true colors. So I definitely am like Fede. I have a lot of shoes that I train with. I save the good shoes for the race days and for my faster speed work.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you for saying that. Please, listeners, do not train on your carbon fiber plated shoes. Keep them it's like going to a group ride with your aero helmet on and your disc wheel on. Don't.
Oh man, it's so funny when you get around races, you see everyone in their carbon shoes. You'll see like a triathlete, because we can all spot the triathletes with the calf sleeves and the carbon shoes in the grocery store. You're like, no, don't do that. I'll kid it out.
No.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so easy to spot a triathlete in the crowd, especially at these events. We are a little bit ridiculous, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's part of the attire to be ridiculous at all times.
Yeah, and then you got to have the tattoo of the race number from the sunburn that goes around it for the next week. That always looks awesome.
Yeah, that always looks awesome.
So I actually once had a photo shoot a week after I did an Ironman, and I had gotten so sunburned. So this was etched onto my skin. Oh, the poor makeup artist had to spend like 20 minutes trying to like blend in the pasty white numbers against my skin. I was like, sorry. You said you wanted a real athlete for this shoot. Yeah. That's what you get.
Well, now you got to remember too, you got to stock up on your race day tattoos if you want to have that same impact at your next photo shoot. So
there we go. Got to look legit. Awesome. Do we have anything else interesting going on this weekend?
Well, yeah, I just talked about Mickey Daghol, but we, I mean, we had a Belgian guy, Christopher de Crieser, on second, and a Portuguese, Felipe Acevedo, on third, who he came from the ITU. So it's good to see him, towing the line with the 70.3 guys. And I think this one was also a men's pro field only.
Gotcha.
So yeah. I think next weekend on Ironman Nice, we're gonna have men and female. So that's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'd be good to see some more racing. It's it's getting close now to kind of Nice and getting down to those last few qualifying spots. It'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. We still have a few big names that haven't qualified, and curious to see who actually shows up to Nice and then 70.3 Worlds.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. So with the closeness with Ironman World Champs and then 70.3 Worlds, if you were to qualify for both of them, would you prefer to do either one of them or both of them, like 80% both of them, or just choose one and commit?
I'd totally go Ironman. But that being said, I'm much better at Ironman than I am 70.3, so that might be a little ego involved there. But yeah, I'm definitely, so this year I'm still actually on the fence of going to do 70.3 Worlds and Kona. But I think for the men, it's an even bigger challenge there with the timing. How about you?
Well, I did it last year. I did 70.3 Worlds and then Kona. And then Kona didn't turn out as great as I wanted to. So now I'm just gonna do one World Champs per year, even if it's Kona. If it's 70.3 Worlds, it's 70.3 Worlds. So I don't think my body will respond very good, with races being too close together. And as well, my coach will be happy to hear this. He'll be like jumping around ecstatic because he's the one who's usually telling me that I race a lot. So yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, it's so tough. It's not only like the physical effort of those world champs, it's the mental too. Like it takes a lot to kind of get geared up and amped up to really race and then recover it. I think that's the part I struggle more on. So I race a lot less than most people and just kind of go all in on one race and everything else is whatever. But yeah, it's hard to keep gearing up mentally to just suffer to the level that you need to if you're really trying to chase a good result.
Yeah. Well, and you practice what you preach. Every event that you show up to, you are winning or at least in the mix. So
it's worked out pretty well. I won't complain there.
There you go.
Oh, man.
And now you're adding in the extra factor of it being in Europe too, right? So if on the men's side this year, going and that mental aspect of the travel, it's one thing to get to Hawaii and stay in the U.S. or from Canada to the U.S., not so hard. But when you start adding Europe in and unknown territories and new courses and things like that, it definitely adds to that mental aspect, would be my guess.
Yeah, the travel is always a consideration. That's why it's always so impressive on the WTCS courses with the short course athletes. Like they are racing and traveling all over the world. And I can't imagine the jet lag, the recovery. Like I know my training goes to crap whenever I travel overseas because it just messes with your system. So it's definitely more challenging when you add that travel aspect in there.
I think the trick is to always be jet lagged. That way, you never know.
You're just always in that state.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
New training approaches from Fetty.
There we go.
There you go.
If you never feel good, you'll never feel terrible.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's interesting to see. I'm curious to see who shows up at what on the pro field because, well, I was even looking too. So Alistair Brownlee pulled out of another Ironman here, and he's not going to be racing Ironman France either. So I'm curious to see if he'll be able to gear up and make it out to Nice because especially with that bike course, you'd think he would be an absolute favorite in there, because that course, that bike just mixes everything up.
Yeah, it's tough to see Alistair Brownlee pulling out of races because the caliber of an athlete he is. He brings so much to the sport that we just want to see him healthy and racing, because he's one of those guys who races from the front with no fear. So I'm really looking forward to see him healthy and back racing again, and fingers crossed that he makes it to the start line in Nice.
Yeah, it'd be good to see. You just want to see that big showdown between like all the big names in here. I feel like this year has been such a tease of like these epic showdowns are planned. Everyone's going to be out here racing, and then everyone pulls out, and you're like, oh, well,
just
that wasn't quite what I was hoping for. Right? Oh man, I would love to see like a niche showdown with like Jan Frodeno, Alistair Brownlee, Kristen Blumenfeld, Gustav Eden, like something like that would be absolutely epic, but it's not looking great.
Nope.
Or maybe it is. That's why they're all backing out of these other ones. They're all lining up for that race, right?
There you go. There you go. True. Oh, no, it'll be good. One other thing, we didn't have it on the calendar here, but Challenge Roth is coming up.
Bucket list race.
Oh God, I know that Solarberg Hill looks absolutely insane. Josh, have you seen the pictures of that with everyone on either side, like inches away, like the Tour de France style?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I've actually been watching the Tour de France Netflix like stuff too. So when you're talking about those technical descents and things like that, unbelievable.
How good is
the
that
way
show,
those guys
Josh?
can descend. It's been so good to watch. And actually, I've been watching Phil Gaiman just started doing a podcast recapping the Tour de France documentary. That's pretty entertaining from a behind the scenes view of it.
That'll be interesting to listen. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this last year was the first time I ever watched the Tour de France, and I got absolutely sucked in. It is just crazy.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So did you guys, we had Ironman Cairns last weekend too, right? And
yes. Yeah, you're totally right, Josh.
Crazy racing, and then there's that 80-year-old too.
Yeah, you are totally right. I'm so sorry. We had Ironman Cairns over the weekend. Braden Curry took the win. He ran, I believe, a 2:35 marathon. Just casual cruising, no big deal.
Uncontested, still running 2:35.
Yeah, just big. I think what it was with Braden, he's also one of these guys who likes to race his eyes out, no matter what the field is, no matter what the stakes are. He's just a pure racer, and there's no like middle ground with him. It's just all in, and you can see, and we saw that over the weekend. He won like for over 8 minutes or something. It was amazing to see. We had Steve McKenna coming in second place. Yeah, 10 minutes and 48 seconds, the gap between first and second.
Now, how do you go, like, I can't imagine going and running that hard and that fast when you've got a 10-minute gap. Like,
yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite tips from Maka was he's like, if I could go back, the one thing I'd realize is I didn't have to destroy everyone every race. I just had to be first across the line. Yeah. And it's like, man, 10 minutes and still going all out running at 2:35, unless he was super casual and feeling good. And that was just what he wanted to do on the day. Oh,
yeah. I mean, Braden, he's a natural runner, and that just comes natural to him. And he's been making solid strides on the bike as well. He is a solid bike rider. And well, Steve McKenna, who finished second, he's a very solid swimmer, biker, and runner. And it's not like he collapsed during the run. He ran at 2:48, which is moving, and still wasn't enough. Tim Van Berkel, another Aussie, in third, 2:42 marathon. So these guys are not jogging. It was just very, very impressive to see. And former Kona champion, Pete Jacobs, finished fourth. He is a very interesting character nowadays because he's like on a carnivore diet and ketones and all of this, just salt and water and butter and meat. Yeah.
Haven't heard his name in a while after he had a great result in Kona there. He kind of seems like he had a few challenging years and was trying to work out exactly how his body was feeling, what was going on there. It's interesting to see a totally different diet like that in long distance triathlon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love meat, and if I can thrive up on that diet, I'll do it 100%.
That is awesome. Yeah, it looks like
we did have a women's field on Cairns. So we had Kylie Simpson winning, Radka Kalfeld finished second, and Penny Slater finishing third, and Sarah Crowley fourth. The winner took it in 8:40 with a 2:51 marathon, so that's very, very fast.
Yeah.
She rode a 4:40, so
going pretty good there.
Yeah. And yeah, that was very impressive to see. To outbike Sarah Crowley by a lot. Well, not a lot, a couple minutes, but that's still very, very impressive.
That is legit for sure. Man. Well, do we want to talk about some of the women actually racing at Challenge Roth this weekend? These start lists are absolutely insane. Usually it's a battle between like Ironman Germany and Challenge Roth for who is going to have the big names. And this year, Roth got them all. It's absolutely crazy. Here's an idea of who's going to be out there. We got Anne Haug, Chelsea Sodaro, Daniela Reef, Laura Phillip, Laura Sedal, Fenella Langridge, Lisa Norden. The list goes on and on and on. It is absolutely insane, the caliber of racing that's going to happen at Roth, and it's so good to see. I hope everyone shows up ready and healthy and good to go, because that is going to be an epic race. And it looks like Daniela Reef is back with her previous coach, Seto, so be curious to see if we see more of the Daniela of old who absolutely dominates. But it's going to be such a good race. I'm so excited to watch this one.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see, which brings me to the question. I think we should bring up a segment in picking the winner. Well, the winner for a very high level race. And I think we should all pick a male and female winner for this one.
Love it. Let's do it. Oh my goodness. That is such a hard list to pick from. You know what? I'm going to go with Anne Haug. I think, her run is just absolutely insane here. And I think she could pull out, if she's fit and ready to go, I think she can pull something off. It's always hard to bet against Daniela Reef, but she's been a little up and down the last little while here. So yeah, I'm going to go Anne Haug. How about you, Josh?
I'm going to stick with Chelsea. I've had the opportunity to meet her in Oceanside. I actually met her before that at Race Mania. Been following her a lot. And she's been training in the mountains and living over in the Swiss Alps or something, I think. So she's been having some epic training. So I think she's ready to go and had some time off in between races too. So that's my pick.
Love it. How about you, Fede?
Well, I'm going to go with the Angry Bird, Daniela Reef. I just can't bet against her.
I know. She's just, when she's on, she is on. Like, I love her attitude of when she's absolutely dominating. She's like, I'm not even racing the women anymore. I want to see how far I can get up in the men's field, because she was just head and shoulders above the rest. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes here.
Yeah, rumor has it is that they are gunning the women's record. So that's 8:18 by Chrissy Wellington in 2011. So I believe if the stars align, I truly believe Daniela, Laura, and Haug, I believe the top 4 could go under the record.
Well, and that's the interesting aspect to it too, right? I think they have a much better chance of it because they're all racing together. Like, there's actually, it's not going to be a time trial off the front. It's going to be everyone go full out, try to destroy each other, which will either end in epic explosions or a very interesting last 10K of this race.
Yeah, it's going to be, fireworks are going to be all over the place in Roth.
Okay, let's jump onto the men's here. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. We can jump into the men's and then just have a topic I wanted to discuss Roth-wise, but we can jump into the men's first.
Okay, so here's just a couple of the top names. Like, I can't even list all of these because it's absolutely ridiculous. We got Magnus Dietlev, Patrick Lange, Sam Laidlow, Sebastian Kienle, Daniel Baekkegard, Andreas Dreitz, Joe Skipper, Ben Knut, Nils Fromhold, and of course, we got to give a special shout out to our Mauna Endurance athlete, Jason Pohl, actually local Canadian here too. So he's going to be out there in his shiny new Mauna kit, which is wicked.
Awesome.
But yeah, like honestly, you can even keep going down. Clement Mignon, Bradley Weiss, Reese Barclay. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. This will be a battle to see. So let's hear you guys. Who do you think is going to take this? Let's start with you, Fede.
Okay, so my heart wants Sebi to win so bad.
Oh, I know. Wouldn't that be an epic close to his career? Because he's on the retirement tour. That would be so good.
So good. That would be. I mean, if he wins, Netflix needs to jump on his story. But I think Magnus is going to take the win. Magnus Ditlev. I don't see anyone beating him on the day if he is on the day.
Mm-hmm. I know he's on fire for sure. How about you, Josh? Who do you think has this?
Well, I think we kind of have to rule out Joe Skipper after. I think probably the news that Fetty might want to break is the new ruling that they're not allowed to have their crazy setups anymore. So take Joe out. No, we never know. I mean, he can obviously compete. But I think I'm a Ben Knut fan. Again, he's had some time off between races and switching to the full course. I think he's got a shot. So that's my outside pick.
You know what? It's so funny you say that thing about Joe because I'm going with Joe Skipper. I think, honestly, in the previous years, I would not have because Roth has traditionally had quite the moto lead train that has made the race more of a swim bikers, swim runners kind of race. But this year they've committed to having only essential kind of race personnel on the course, not doing the motos with the cameras and stuff. And I think Joe's hungry after a couple not up to his caliber race results in there. And even without the bladder down the front there, if they actually stick to it and the pro lead man isn't drafting off of a moto, I think it could be interesting to see him come through there.
That's a great pick. I'm happy with our picks.
Yeah, at least we all have something different. I was going to say Dietlev, but I had to mix it up here.
Nah, we need to keep it exciting for the listeners.
There we go. Yeah, what did you want to bring up about Roth, Fede?
Yeah, Josh was touching on it. So the German Triathlon Federation came up with the news that some rules are going to be applied in terms of equipment. I don't know if you recall this, Jenna and Josh, but in Kona, Gustav and Magnus and a couple of guys were wearing like these sort of like camel bags underneath their tri-suits or like ice cube holders, stuff like that. And allegedly that makes you more aero. And of course, it'll helps you to lower your core body temperature and all of this. So the German Triathlon Federation said, nope, that's not allowed on this race, as well as the crazy Darth Vader time-traveling machine that Joe Skipper had in Texas. That's not going to be allowed either. So, yeah.
Well, I do have to say, Lionel Sanders did it first with the camelback in Kona, but he went about it the wrong way with actually having it on his back, which did not help the aerodynamics.
I remember that.
Trendsetter, yeah. Man, it was entertaining to see.
Totally right. He was on something.
Right? Just ahead of his time. Just a little bit off, but ahead of his time. Be curious to see how he goes here. It seems like he's kind of racing back to fitness, getting back there. So let's jump into, Josh, we have you here for a little insight into the social media world of triathlon with a little Instagram insights. Were there any interesting posts this week that stood out to you?
Well, there's always plenty. So I think my hardest job is picking which ones to discuss. So I actually went outside triathlon specific, but we're talking about a pro triathlete, Sika Henry, who went over to South Africa to take on the Comrades Marathon, which is an ultra marathon. So she'd been doing and leading up to running like Boston in a slow pace for her, and she did the Virginia 100K and did really well there, and she got over there and she didn't have the race she expected, and I guess it had a lot to do with the terrain and everything. So she started posting about her recap of the race and how she felt coming out of it, and then she started joking around about the medal. And she finished the race, but she compared the medal that she got to, I think, some of her Ironman medals, and it's insane. So I thought it'd be a great topic to throw out to the listeners. What is the worst medal you've ever gotten? Best medal, and what race was it, and what did you like about it, and what did you not like about it? So
that is awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would love to hear some people's inputs on some of the most entertaining medals they've seen. And, Ironman definitely goes big with them. Although I will have to say the most interesting medal I've received was from, I think it was Miami Man down. And it was like their 10th anniversary or something. So it was a giant 10, all with like rhinestones all over it. So it looked like it was covered in like fake diamonds kind of thing. And this thing was like half the size of my head. Like it was absolutely massive. Like, oh my God, it's going to be a workout just to carry this around afterwards. But that one definitely stands out the most. It was some bling, I guess.
How about you, Fatty?
I remember back in, I think it was 2016, I did a local triathlon in Kima, Texas. And we got a piece of wood. Just a random piece of wood saying Kima, Texas triathlon. Yeah. I think
little different.
That's the most interesting one I've gotten. What about you, Josh?
I would say I've had one where you didn't even get a medal. Everyone kind of thought you were going to get a medal. And it was a local 5K, and I think the budget got tight that year, and it wasn't a piece of wood, but it was just a certificate that they emailed to you later on.
Even an emailed certificate.
But it was in the shape of a medal that you could like print out.
Almost the same.
A piece of wood? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, true. A punch card to Dennis.
There you go. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, tell us about some of your most interesting medals and any good ones out there. Send us some pictures. And if you haven't already, of course, I got to give the plug because that's what we do. Go follow another Triathlon Podcast on Instagram. We'll start to post up some more interesting stuff in there and give you a heads up anytime we have an episode coming out, and subscribe as well. That would help us out a ton. Let's jump into some questions from the audience. These are starting to ramp up here, which is wicked to see. And feel free, Josh, to give some of your perspectives on these too, just kind of things you've heard or things that have worked for you. We always want to hear everyone's opinions. So we'll start with the first one here from Angel. Do you have a favorite recovery meal after training? So what do you guys like to eat after your training sessions, whether it's for recovery and performance or you just really crave it and want it after your hard workouts? How about you, Betty?
I was just thinking that I have multiple answers for this question. So I usually go for a smoothie, after a long break, let's say, like a 4 or 5 hour break. I just love a smoothie, toss in some protein in there, Greek yogurt, blueberries, just ice cubes, keeping it simple. And if it's a super hot day, I've gotten to a habit of just opening the freezer and getting a nice lemon popsicle.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How about you, Josh? What do you like to eat after your hard workouts?
So I would say I like fatty too, depending on the length and how hard the workout is. So be conscious of that first off. Don't go eat the same thing every day. And as you get into a taper, don't continue to eat that way that you've been training.
That's the hardest part.
Right, exactly. You're so used to that same ritual. But I would say on the hard ones, get as much protein quickly into you. So I tend to either get some eggs right away or even a protein bar or smoothie, like Fetty said. I tend to throw in some more ice cream than I probably should as well. But that hasn't hurt me. So I'll stick with it. But I'm a big into the protein shakes, the quick chocolate milks, kind of get some of that sweet tooth fix as well too. So, and the electrolytes right back into the body as well. I think that's a huge piece for me, at least. I sweat a lot. So that
Absolutely
always replenished.
Yeah, those are definitely some key things when it comes to recovery here. We're looking for some protein is so underutilized, I think, in endurance athletes. I came from a weight loss and strength conditioning background before coming into triathlon coaching. And honestly, the amount of protein most triathletes get is nowhere near enough. And that's actually something that Lionel Sanders has been going on about in his latest kind of YouTube channels, how now he's starting to focus on that protein intake a lot more. And I think that's a good reminder for everyone because it is the building blocks. You're breaking down your muscles. You want to make sure that you are getting enough protein to actually support that recovery. For me, for my favorite post-race meals, I try to time it. So most of my training I do in the afternoon, which makes it a little bit easier. But I just try to time a real meal afterwards. I'm not a huge fan of like protein shakes and stuff like that because I'm usually craving something more like salty after those hard workouts. I'm the same, sweat a ton, usually out in the pain cave, sweating down here like I was today. But I try to time it so that I can have like a solid meal with like some chicken or some type of protein in there. And then just an easily digested carb, not the most exciting thing in the world. A lot of times actually, it's just sandwiches because those are quick and easy to get down. But yeah, I like solid food. I find I'm not quite as satisfied with the shakes, but those are such a good go-to after the workouts, making sure you get the nutrients you need right away in. So they're definitely a good option.
I think you bring up a good point too, is like, what time of day do you work out too, right? I'm not an early morning person typically, maybe on the weekends for the longer workouts, right? But typically I'm in the afternoon, evening. So that's where that ice cream comes into play if I have a late night. But so that is a good point though. It does depend on when you're working out too.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think we all have the same idea. Focus on that protein. It's something that 9 times out of 10, if you're an endurance athlete, you are underestimating how much you actually need to really perform and recover well. So the main goal of those post-recovery meals is so that you can be ready to go for the next one. And actually, that's one other thing I want to bring up quickly is fueling during your workouts is good not only for being able to perform the workout you're doing, but it'll also help a ton with the next day's session. So if you have a big weekend where you're doing a long bike one day, long run the next day, or swapping them around, whatever it is, the more you're fueling during those hard workouts or long workouts, the better you'll feel not only afterwards and be able to be a real human being afterwards, but it'll also help start that recovery process for the next day as well. So don't get too depleted during those workouts. You're only going to be hurting yourself in the long run.
Yeah,
hey,
a
and
good
even
thing
start
to
the
add.
night before too, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
As you would on a race day, if you're going to start doing race rehearsal type long workouts, you got to start the night before.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, a good thing to add is that as soon as you finish your training session, you're fueling for the next day. So
100%.
You are as good the next day. You can perform as to the best of your ability if you fuel right the day prior. So think about it this way. Today you're fueling for tomorrow. That way you're always on top of your nutrition and you're not letting yourself, getting too depleted in terms of protein or carbs or electrolytes. Because a lot of people make the mistake of, doing a monster bike ride or a super hard run, and they believe that that's done. And then the next day they feel horrible because, well, the hard session was yesterday, and today on my easy run, I'm bunking. Well, that's because you're not fueling properly, my friend. So just make sure you stay on top of your nutrition and hydration every day, not just for your big key sessions.
Could not have said it better. That is such great advice and really a good thing to keep in mind. Which actually brings us to the next question here that lines up pretty well with it. From Mina, we have, how do you lose weight while training for a 70.3? So that's something that really takes this fueling aspect into consideration. You need to make sure that you're still fueling enough to perform the workouts. But at the end of the day, you don't have to be super lean for a triathlon, but if you are a few pounds heavier, that watts per kilogram can definitely make a big difference on the bike. Fede, do you have any advice for athletes trying to get in the 70.3 training while trying to lose some weight?
Yeah. Well, first thing I would say is don't underestimate, like don't cut down on food immediately.
Yes.
You are eventually going to lose weight while doing the training. And in fact, you're even going to lose more weight if you fuel properly and eat maybe a little bit more, just because your body craves the nutrients and everything that you are losing with the big hours of training. So I would suggest maybe be a bit more conscious on how clean you're eating. Maybe go for the you know the vegetables, the not so processed foods. Be a bit more conscious of how you eat, not what you eat or how much you eat, because that's a recipe for disaster and injury. If you want to get to a race fit and lose weight, most people tend to cut down food, which is not the best idea. So I would say keep eating, keep training, and because if you're not fueling right, your body's going to be all inflamed and you're not going to absorb the training. So you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot by two ends, nutrition and training. So keep eating.
Oh, that is such good advice. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, so people may not know my story and stuff, but I was, pretty overweight most of my life. And I did every single fad diet in the book, up and down. Nothing worked. Nothing was sustainable. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to weight loss as well as triathlon training is something that you can be consistent and something that is sustainable is absolutely key. And that means for the most part, you don't have to do anything crazy. You don't need to cut your calories drastically. That's just going to hurt you, not only in your training, but especially when it comes to women hormonally. It can really put you into some deep holes. And that's where you get into overtraining and injury. So biggest piece of advice for it is you want to have a small calorie deficit. Like we're talking maybe 200 calories a day, something that is very sustainable, but focus on eating real foods and cutting out sugar where you can. Now, you'll need some sports nutrition and sugar if you're practicing for race day or if you're doing some high intensity work. Keep that sugar for the actual workouts and try to reduce it outside of the actual training. Another good piece of advice is make sure you're focusing your calorie intake before, during, and after your workouts. So if you have an early morning workout, make sure you're fueling beforehand so you're keyed up for it. Make sure you're fueling during the workout so that you can perform and start that recovery process, and then good nutrition afterwards. Throughout, if you have an early morning workout, then you can do something like have a smaller dinner as long as you have fueled well around that training. So that way you're going to do a couple of things. One, maximize your training, which is going to increase your metabolism significantly for the hours after you actually finish the workout. And then it'll also help kind of make sure that you're able to really perform well and have a bit of a calorie deficit if you're eating a little bit less in the evening where you don't have training, where you don't need to be carved up and amped up to really get into a hard workout. So really focus the fueling around when you need it. Try to cut sugar outside of that and just eat some real foods is kind of the major takeaway points there. And don't try to lose weight 2 weeks out from the race. That is not the time to drastically slash calories and try to drop 10 pounds before race day.
foreign
You
racing.
won't be holding race pace at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing is, a lot of athletes I find try to use those long bike workouts as a way to get into a big calorie deficit. And again, like Fede said, you are fueling for tomorrow as well. So that's where, again, you just want a small deficit in there. You don't want to be 2,000 calories in the hole because you didn't eat anything during a 5-hour bike ride.
Ooh.
No, I get through those 5-hour bike rides knowing what's at the end.
There you go.
The reward for tomorrow.
No, absolutely.
That's
And another
awesome.
thing is, I know the urge a lot of times is to have, like, if you don't eat during that 5-hour bike ride, you're probably going to be binging a lot of crap afterwards because you're just so hungry and just so depleted. You're like, I just want any calories at all, get them all. And that's when you turn to the fast food, pizza, whatever, because you're starving and it's there. So it's easier to make better choices if you're not completely like gassed and need food now.
Absolutely. It's a discipline, right? The whole sport is being disciplined. So set a goal, set a target. Nutrition has to be a part of that plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a few more. We will save those for next week there. It's been so good to chat with both of you today and talk a little about racing, talk about everything going on here, have some fun with some social media input and some thoughts on the races coming up. So good to chat with you guys.
You too. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
And
it was
to everyone
awesome.
listening too, send in your ideas for the posts too. If you see anything on Instagram and social media, send those posts in, and maybe we'll consider them to talk about as well.
Absolutely. Anything fun you see out there in the triathlon world, whether it's entertaining, ridiculous, or stuff that we need to talk about, let us know and keep sending in those questions as well. I'll put all of our social media and the Another Triathlon Podcast link in the show notes here. So go give us a follow, send in your questions. We want to hear more from you, and we will keep getting this dialed in. Thanks so much, guys. And let's see who takes the wins this weekend over at Ross. See who got it right there. We've got a little extra bonus this week. We are going to jump on with one of our Mauna Endurance athletes, one of our team members there on the race team, who is going to recap their race day at Ironman Hawaii 70.3. Take a listen.
Okay, we're going to have some fun bringing some members from our Mauna Endurance community onto the podcast to tell you a little bit about their experiences racing and maybe give you some insight into some of the popular races around the world. So today we have Ida joining us, and she did Ironman Hawaii 70.3. It's so great to have you on the podcast.
Great to be here. How are you, Jenna? How are you, Fede?
Doing good,
Hello.
thanks. We also have Coach Fede, who did the race as well.
Yeah. Happy to talk to you guys, and eager to hear Ida about her day and how it went.
Absolutely. Why don't you start with telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I started my journey to triathlon first by kind of running a couple of 5Ks and 10Ks back in 2018 when I was just trying to stay in shape. I was trying to just stay motivated. In 2019, I decided to sign up for a triathlon. I signed up for a sprint race in March of 2019 and kind of just downloaded the program, trained for it, did the race, and absolutely fell in love. It's such a sport that you get a lot of fulfillment from it, and it's really just your effort out there. And a lot of it is dependent on you. So it was a great way to start in this sport. And from then, the rest is kind of history. I did an Olympic that year, and then my first 70.3 Santa Cruz. I joined the Tri Club, a local Tri Club. That was very helpful. And then 2020, I hired a coach, and there were no racing, as everybody knows what happened in 2020. And 2021, we were on, and that's when I joined Mauna Endurance because I signed up. I like to do a lot of races. It keeps me focused. It keeps me motivated. Having something else to work towards, I kind of get distracted and lose a bit of motivation if I'm just training for no reason. So it was really great joining a team. It's tough. It's tough if you don't have anything to work towards, right? So I joined Mauna Endurance because their presence at races were amazing. Just the people that come out, the people you see on the course, the people that are just out there supporting. I remember my first race back, Philip was out there in St. George just cheering us on the entire time. And it's, it just gives you extra energy while you're on that course.
It really does. It's so great to have that team community and spirit. And the team definitely likes to pick some key races to go to. And there's nothing like seeing your teammates on the sidelines and out there suffering too. It's a little bit easier when people are suffering alongside you.
Yes, it is. It's just a little high fives. Yes, you're doing the same thing. You feel the same way I do. So it's good. This year I've done 2 races, and for the first time I've podiumed at both. So it's a constant progress.
That is absolutely incredible. You've definitely made some big strides in the sport.
Absolutely. So we got in the day before, and luckily, like where we were staying at the Fairmont is where the whole race starts and ends. So I was able to see the swim because I was very nervous about a no wetsuit swim. I'm not the best swimmer. And I picked this race, to be honest, as a challenge. I think everyone always tries to chase PRs. Not everyone, but a lot of people try to chase PRs, try to pick fast courses. But I kind of had to take a step back and see why I got into this sport to begin with. And pick a race that was going to challenge me. And this was it with the open water swim, no wetsuit, and the heat out there that I normally don't perform so well in the heat. I'm like, this is the race. I got to do it and see how it goes. So the swim, it was beautiful. The water was like complete glass. It was like a pool with a bunch of tropical fish in it. That first practice swim, I saw 2 turtles. I mean, come on, 2 turtles. I'm like, this is my lucky day. So it's going to be my lucky race. And the morning of the race, same exact condition. So we started to swim. Me and Fede actually lined up together with one of our other teammates.
We did.
Yeah, it was really, really, really nice to have, especially on that swim start when the adrenaline's going, the nerves are really kicking in, having like the people that you know and you've trained with, and you're familiar, some familiar faces with you. So we started to swim. I did the swim pretty comfortably. The water is super buoyant because it's so salty. So the swim was a lot better and easier than I thought it would be. And I did it in 38 minutes, which is like maybe a minute and a half slower than the wetsuit swims I've done. So I was pretty happy with it. So the swim was a lot more pleasant than I had imagined it to be.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, let me know if you want me to just move on to the transition and give you a whole little race recap. I'm ready for it.
I think we can do that. Just let's recap the race, and then we'll ask some questions. But yeah, go for it.
Perfect. So coming out the swim, the transition was pretty long. We had to run kind of to the front of the hotel all the way to where the golf course is, where we picked up our bags. And the run was fine. I'm always pretty fast coming out of the water to the transition. I'm like, yes, I can gain some positions here. I run faster than I swim. So I went into transition, grabbed my bag. The volunteers were amazing. They had the bag ready to go when I called my number. I mean, I didn't have to wait a second for them. Grabbed the bag, and as always, I went to put the helmet on first, and my helmet wouldn't fit on my head. I had got some braids in, and they made them too chunky. I literally couldn't put the helmet would not go down over the braids. So I took it out. I had to open it even wider, as wide as it goes, and try it again. It wouldn't go. I was smacking myself in the head multiple times just to try to get this helmet on. So I definitely lost a little bit of time, more than I like, in transition, because of this, something you don't really think about really when you're practicing, that your helmet's not going to fit on your head. But I finally got it on. I smacked it on there, got on the bike, and the bike also. It's just a amazing experience. It's very similar train-wise to PCH, where I train here in LA. But the heat and the wind, once you get on to Queen K, it's something, unforgiving. it's very, you think you have headwind going out and you'll have tailwind coming back, and it's not the case. It's like head cross and cross cross. So you really don't have that huge tailwind that you're hoping for. But on the bike, my power felt good. I felt great that first half of it. And then I started like experiencing some neck spasms, which I'm imagining is from smacking myself in the head 20 times to get the helmet on.
You mean you didn't do that in training?
No, something I did not practice in training. So I think it's a cross between that and maybe how strong the wind was, because you really had to, keep a tight core and tight body to just not be pushed over and falling over with the wind. So the second half of a bike was definitely a struggle. I was very happy that this was mostly, going downhill. It was a bit faster in the first half, but I couldn't sadly stay in aero, like barely at all. On the second half, going back to transition, I was kind of like, I was disappointed because I was hoping for a bit faster bike. I think without the issues, I would have probably been 6 minutes faster, maybe a little more, because that aero position, especially in the wind, makes such a big difference. So I was a bit disappointed coming off the bike. And then like getting off, I had to kind of just stretch my neck and rub it really to be able to even turn right and left. I think Feda's dad got me on tape, got me on camera, getting off the bike and holding the back of my neck because I couldn't move. So he did get that.
We actually might have to post that video for the community to see how hard you were smacking your head.
It was pretty hard. I think at one point I tried to like smack it with my shoe to get the helmet on. Yeah, don't do that at home, guys. Then I got off the bike and I saw Matt, who had got off the bike, our other teammate, a couple of minutes before me, and I saw him in transition. I'm like, okay, he struggled too. This is good. We can run together. We had got out of transition together. As I kind of started running, the neck started feeling better, started loosening up with the shoulders. And my boyfriend Gu was out there and he was just telling me to relax the neck, smile, move the jaw around to loosen up the neck. And it was very helpful. As always, it's great to see people out there cheering you on. And it just really gives you that boost in energy you need at that point when you're struggling a little bit. And on the run, I just kept it under control. I mean, I knew the heat was going to be an issue for everybody. I took so much salt, both on the bike and then on the run. I had the salt stick chews, and I would just stick them on the side of my cheek every 20 minutes, 2 of them. And at the next aid station, I would chew them and wash it down. I looked like a little chipmunk running around with chews in my cheeks. But, from what everyone had told me, is that heat and that humidity, just take as much salt, double the salt maybe you think you need. So I did up the salt there. One of the things that was super helpful in training for this race was I did a sweat test, which told me my sweat composition, and I'm much saltier than I ever thought, because some people get that white salt on them on their kit. So you realize how salty you are, but I wasn't getting any of that. But it turned out I'm losing 58 milligrams of electrolytes per ounce.
Got you, yeah.
Which is pretty salty on the salt level. Yeah, so it was really helpful to do that testing and preparing up for this race. And the first loop of the run, I kept it on. I literally didn't look at anything but my heart rate, and then felt the effort. And anytime my heart rate would start going over where it needs to be, I would just take it down a little bit. But, they did an amazing job with the aid stations. I don't know if you felt the same too, Fede. The aid stations were on point. Every mile, I think you almost had an aid station on each side.
Oh, yeah. Aid stations were amazing. On the run, especially. It was everything. They had ice water, cola. They even had Red Bull, everything, gels. So, hats off to the volunteers that were running the aid stations. They did an amazing job. especially on the run.
Absolutely. There was one aid station that they would ask you, "Do you want us to throw water on you?" And I'm like, "Yes." Every time, just throw it on my face. So it was great. And then the second loop, again, I saw Gu on the way when I finished the first one, and he kind of gave me my splits on where I'm at and what to try to keep. And I got it done. The second loop, I picked it up a little bit. And then that last mile, when you know you're just going to the finish line, I did, I think, my fastest split to the finish line.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it was, I felt really good and just under control and strong on the run, which was a great ending to the whole race. And I finished 5th in my age group.
Fantastic.
Hey,
Congratulations.
there you go.
Nothing like a podium in Hawaii.
Thank you. Yes, we got bowls. We got the
Umeke. Yeah.
Yes, that was Umeke. Very cool. It was a very cool race.
That is wicked. Now, how many 70.3s have you done before this?
A lot, I think now. Last year I did 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Last year I did 5. This year I did Ocean, so that's 6. And then I did 4 in 2021. No, 3 in 2021 and 1 my first year. So total of 11 this one. This one was 11 70.3.
That's wicked. And it sounds like this year has been a bit of a breakthrough year with a string of podiums. And the coolest part with the Ironman 70.3 in Hawaii, there's a little something extra to play for. What else did you qualify for?
The terrifying Kona World Championship for women this year in Kona. So the most exciting and terrifying. Yes.
Honestly, Kona
please hold my hand.
I will. I'll hold your hand at the start line there. We'll go into the water together. But it is an experience unlike any other. Just like you got a taste of the course out there, but being able to actually race and compete and experience on this course that you've heard about for years, and I'm sure you probably watched some of the coverage. It is such a magical experience, and I'm so excited for you.
I'm definitely really excited, and it's a bit surreal because I've never done a full distance before. So my first full distance race is going to be the Kona World Championship, which I know just people
jump right in.
They go above and beyond to qualify for this race, and there's something special there. I think that I'm super excited about, and really I'm going to do my best to perform to my best ability out there. I was out there to watch the men last year, and I mean, I was hot walking around, so I can't imagine how it's going to be racing around, but definitely excited to be out there.
Mm-hmm. What a way to experience it.
Something I really wanted to touch on is that, yes, Ida was excited when she qualified for Kona, but her boyfriend Gu and me, we were like little kids in Disneyland, just jumping around, throwing fist bumps. She was the one that was a bit scared on the award ceremony, but yeah, Gu and me, we were just over the moon that she qualified. Maybe it has to do something with the fact that we're not racing there this year, and that we know that we're not going to be hurting in October. But yeah, we were over the moon for her.
Oh, that's so good to hear, and it's so great to have that support out on course. I remember when I heard I qualified, I started crying. So you had a better reaction than me.
Well, somebody threatened me that they're gonna punch me if I don't take this slot. Not to name any names, but
yes.
I was questioning.
No, you know what? When you get that Kona spot, you got to go. It's really a magical experience, and you know what? It's a punishing race, but that's why we're in this sport, to challenge ourselves, to get uncomfortable, to see what your body's actually capable of.
Absolutely. I mean, I actually, in my office right now, as we're having this talk, on my screen have a sticker under my screen that says, "Remember your why." And then it has my AWA All World Athlete sticker under that. So I keep a little reminder of like why we start this sport, why we put ourselves through everything we do. And it's definitely, just to challenge yourself and get out of that comfort zone,
Absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us and sharing your experience race day. It was so great to hear. And I can't wait to catch up with you in Hawaii or maybe Finland.
Same here.
That. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're going to see each other in Finland. Excited about that one too.
I'll be wicked. Thank
Awesome.
you so much. And we will be chatting soon.